All right, another 49ers practice is in the books here at training camp, and I will say that that was much lighter than yesterday. That was a marathon session on Saturday. Today, the 49ers didn't even put on pads. So they were out on that field in shorts and in their jerseys, and I will say that Brock Purdy was very sharp. Only 3 incompletions all practice for Brock Purdy, and the first 2 were drops. One from Jawan Jennings. Purdy actually fit a beautiful throw in off schedule, which was maybe 20, 25 yards downfield. Jennings had to come back for the football. It had changed direction, but Purdy put it where it had to be in between 3 defenders, and Jennings just couldn't hold on. And then later, Jordan Mason dropped his first pass of training camp. It's funny because yesterday I was talking about Jordan Mason and the jugs machine, and obviously he's done great work this camp. His hands have been much improved after purchasing that $3,000 jugs machine for his house in Nashville. Well, today he dropped his first pass, but it didn't stop Brock Purdy in the offense. They were running some situational stuff. First, there was a back against the wall period where Kyle Shanahan makes the offense line up at their own 1-yard line, and Purdy was able to execute a first down from there. I think he hit George Kittle to make it happen. End of practice, moved the ball. Purdy drove the offense right down the field. Some excellent connections between him and Chris Conley, who I think is the best ex-receiver that the 49ers currently have out at practice right now. It's obviously Brandon Ayuk's position, but Conley, look out for him, especially if Ayuk is unavailable, which he is right now. He's going to be a featured guy, and he continually makes impressive catches, has good rapport from Brock Purdy. And then Ricky Pearsall had a really nice catch, and it seemed to be on Purdy's second read, so it seemed that there was some good rapport between those two a little bit later in the progression. Brandon Allen almost threw an interception, a couple interceptions today. One to Taylor Hawkins, who almost undercut a pass, and then one in the back against the wall period to D. Winters, who actually is speaking today to the media. No Demetrius Flanagan fouls. That meant that D. Winters and Jalen Graham both saw some run with the first team as a third linebacker today. This was practice number 10. For the first time in 10 practices, Deebo Samuel took a vet day. I mean, he has looked awesome so far for the 49ers. So it was some well-deserved rest from Deebo. For Deebo, all the other veterans, except for Purdy, of course, the quarterback position doesn't need as much rest. The guys are actually taking some abuse, though. They need some rest. All those other vets, they'd taken at least a vet day. Kyle Juszczyk had taken the first one in his entire 49ers tenure, and that's 8 years now for Kyle Juszczyk. Well, Deebo Samuel deserved one, and he did get one in this football game. George Kittle has this funny thing at practice where he makes a big play and he's like messing with a defender. He'll like toss the ball backwards at that defender. Like, hey, you can take the ball. I just made a big play. Kind of confuses the defender. I don't know if it upsets them. It probably confuses them too much to be upset. But today, after a big gain, first down pickup and move the ball, catch from Brock Purdy, George Kittle just kind of flipped it to Deommodore Lenoir, and he's like, what do I do with this football? Just thought it was some levity on a lighter day for the 49ers at practice. Going through the notes here to see if I missed anything. This is just instant reaction. We're going to have much more of a detailed look in a little bit. Pearsall, a couple of those catches. Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell made 2 catches today where he had to climb the ladder. I think he's quietly making a case. I mean, it's probably going to come down to the comfort that they see in Ronnie Bell in punt returns, and he might be a little bit behind in that regard. Remember, last year didn't look all too comfortable back there, but he's holding on the footballs, and he's going up, and on one, I mean, he hobbled off a little bit because I think he took a little bit of a hit. He skied up into the air above Rock Ya-Sin on a pass from Josh Dobbs, but he's making those tough catches, which I think is noteworthy. Mike Shanahan, he's been out of practice. So is Bruce Kittle, George's dad, over the past couple days. But we got to see Mike and also saw 3 players working off on the side, sprinting, picking up some speed. Jacob Cowing, Tay Martin, both with hamstring injuries, and Spencer Burford with his broken hand. Those guys were working out on the practice field. No Brandon Ayuk sighting today. Maybe he picked his head out of the weight room, but I did not catch that if it was the case. All right, Brock Purdy speaking in a little bit. By the way, Purdy, after practice, was there. Everybody's calling for his autograph. He is waving to the crowd, but Purdy was working on his own after practice and working on throws on the run. Empty field. Other guys are already enjoying some family time, but Brock Purdy, even after his sharpest practice of training camp, was putting in some solo work, working on throwing downfield, across the numbers, across the hashes on the run.